What's up, checking in crew? I'm Alexis.
Hey, and I'm Liz.
And this is Rain Check Podcast. Come on in today. You know what? I'm not even going to check in today because today we're going to listen. We're going to listen today, okay? We're going to talk about how, you know what? We have a saying at Rain Check Podcast that is, you don't need a license to listen. From day one, that has been our life motto. Hasn't it? Like, that's our thing. And we really take it serious, and it's important to us.
To me, you don't need a license to listen. Just means, like, shut up. Like, be quiet. Let that person have that moment.
Yep.
You don't have to be the therapist, the psychiatrist, the counselor. Sometimes all people need is for someone to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Give that person that moment.
Girl, how many times have we seen on Facebook or somebody, posting about suicide and listening could have really solved the whole thing? Like, let's just be honest. Sometimes
I literally saw a post yesterday where a girl was just talking about, like, depression, and she was speaking about her own depression and was just saying, like, regardless, she's still going to try and fight for her kids. And she knows that people don't listen. So she made this post to let someone know that you're not the only one.
Yeah. You're not. You're not the only one. And that's what I think Rain Check Podcast is completely about. Podcasts in general. Y'all, podcast has always been a thing. Well, it's been a thing for a long time. And, radio shows were always a hit. Times where people listened. People forget, time moves so fast and technology changes every day. But people forgot that radios was first a thing. And it was huge in our culture. It was huge in the world to just sit and listen. Whether it was the game during, crazy times. And I'm sure it was a getaway for our ancestors all over the world.
That's crazy because I guess I never really thought about it so deep until you just said that. Like, listening to the radio.
Just listening is a thing. It was a huge thing. That's all you could do at some point, and it was a lot of people's escape. So then when the pandemic happened, huge. A lot of people said it saved them. People also, a big stream of income came off of it for a lot of people. A lot of people during a time where we were all like, we didn't know what was going on. We
needed an outlet.
Yeah.
Something to relate to, and we were stuck in the house for so long. Like, I need people somehow, some shape, way, or form. I need to interact.
Yep. And, and another thing that I think about is not even on just like the surface, but getting away and just escaping sometimes when we don't even know we need it. Because I sit at home and I watch podcasts. That's one of my morning routines. I like to not think and just hear people and hear how they think. We just said on a previous podcast with Sean Bennett, the artist, on how always being teachable. Being teachable. Y'all got to go check out that video. That interview, that podcast, y'all, crazy. He an amazing person, but we all agreed that day on just listening and always being teachable is major. You're not going nowhere if you're not teachable. You're not going nowhere, especially not in this industry.
And then the thing is, you can learn. People need to understand that you can learn from anyone and anything.
Yep.
Even an infant, as a grown person, an infant can teach you something. If you're actually listening to what's being said or watching what they're doing. Like, you can learn from every situation, every encounter. You have to be able and willing to want to learn. Mm-hmm. In order to do that, you need to listen.
Yep. And you know what? We talked about last night in a private conversation that we had about how humble you have to be. Some people aren't even there yet to have this conversation. They still got work to do where they can humble themselves to even hear somebody else. Like, it's some people, you're not even going to agree with what we're talking about right now. You're not even at that place yet. Where you can actually, what do they say? Not listen to reply. Listen to actually hear what they're saying. that's a whole nother, I've been there. I had to learn to stop cutting people off and being able to just continue conversation, just listening.
Yep, and I've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, I'm going to give you your moment.
Yep.
You say what you need to say, get it off your chest, and then I'll talk.
Yeah.
Let me hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's good that you brought that up. What do you think, what point in life people have to get to where they're like, in this space to listening? Because it's not an easy thing. Like you said, you had to get there, I had to get there. So, like, maybe what point in your life did you hit, like, let me listen?
I like that. That's how you asked it, because that's all I could speak on is mine. And what I've experienced is life had to humble me. Life had to humble me, and that's the reason why I said that a little while ago, is I had to learn. Some people have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to admit it. Like, I was one of those people that life had to sit me down like, who do you think you are? And it was more so me expecting me out of other people. If you always expect you out of other people, you'll never learn anything. You'll always be mad because people are going to always let you down. They're not you, you know?
Yeah.
And even deeper than that, cousin, I had to learn that with my kid's dad. I had to learn that because, Alexis, why are you so mad? Not only because I was a single parent at a very young age, but it was because I was always expecting him to love them the same as me. I was expecting him to be there the same, you know, even outside of the household, because I didn't want to be in the relationship, but I expected him to still be. They got a PTA meeting, break all the, you know, throw your whole schedule off and make the PTA meeting. I was expecting him to be me. And that's why I was so mad. And I had to, like, shake myself. You know, he's going to always be disappointing to you if you're going to keep holding him at expectations that are unreachable. Yeah. So that's when I had to learn it, and I'm glad you asked that.
Wow.
I
it shows that you had to learn a lot of lessons in life early.
Oh, yeah.
Because then the people at my 9 to 5 will watch our podcast and they'll be like, I love the way your cousin talks. I love the way she carries herself. Just the way she holds conversation, you can just tell, like, she's got it together.
I appreciate it. When I say I appreciate it, y'all don't know when you've been through certain things, just hearing that stuff, just hearing that alone is accomplishment to me. You could take away all my achievements. If you tell me that I look like somebody that has learned from my past, or I'm good. So that's humbling, and I feel amazing that I heard that, girl. Thanks. Okay, cousin, to end this conversation out, can you give someone some tips at home that are maybe thinking about how I can be a better listener? Could you give them some tips and then check us out?
I would say remove yourself from the equation and just try to focus on being there for that person. You know, it's not always about you, and it's not always that you have to insert yourself. Just pull you back and be a vessel for that person. And that's real deep when I say vessel. So I hope you spiritually feel what I'm saying. Remove you and just consume. Sometimes people just need you to sit there and consume. You don't have to give an opinion or a thought or what you think should be done. They just need to get it out. So remove yourself. It's not about you. Be that moment for that person.
That is good.
Rain check is checking out.
All right, y'all.